All right, everybody, here we are, back again on Mixed Messages. I have my new friend Hector here. What a great way to start a new friendship. I just got to tell him about how I woke up in jail naked in Sheridan, Wyoming on February 22nd. So I think we're getting to know each other, and he's filled me up with some stories.
Yes.
Yeah. So Hector and Lisa, it's what the exciting part of this is because there's Hector and Lisa, right? And Hector's going to speak on behalf of Lisa this time.
Yes, I am.
And then we'll get Lisa on next time. But we get the masculine version.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. Let's see. All right. Would you mind giving us just a little background on where you grew up, how you grew up, who you grew up with?
Okay, I grew up here in Miami. I was born and raised in Miami, and my parents are Cuban. I'm not from Cuba. I'm from here.
Post Batista.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Exactly.
Your family came up. Did they come up during the Batista era?
They left Cuba before Mario kicked in, so they've been here for a long time. My mom speaks no English,
Okay.
and my dad speaks English perfectly.
Wow.
So I grew up in a crazy house because you speak both languages, so that's why I have a little strong accent.
Yeah. I like accents. It's sexy.
It is.
Right.
It is. Thank you for the sexy part. I don't know about the sexy, but yeah,
It
thank you.
is.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, and so all my life I've been pretty much in Miami. I'm a Miami boy.
You're a real native in
Yeah.
Miami.
Oh, yes.
Wow. That's cool. And brothers and sisters?
I do. I have two sisters. One's older than me and one is younger than me.
Female power.
So yeah, when I grew up with a lot of disco music, so my sister was a big disco queen.
Okay. And is women strong in your family? Do you have strong women, or are they more the submissive type?
No,
or?
not really. My younger sister is she's strong-willed. My older sister's not that strong. I think the male, and see the whole Cuban heritage thing with the machismo.
Yeah.
My dad was the big boss of the house, and he's the one who took care of the house. And my mom was just like a housewife. That's how they believe it. In most of the Latinos, in not only Cuban, other nationalities that are Latino, they all love to be the man is the man of the house, and the woman stays home.
Yeah.
They believe that. I don't believe that, of course, because I grew up here. So to me, I'm very open-minded. So I grew up at an era that my dad tells me you got to be a man. He doesn't believe in being that there's no such thing as gay, or there's no in between. If my sister said, "Oh, I'm going to be a lesbian," that doesn't
That's a
work
no-no.
out. No,
Yeah.
you get out of the house.
Right. Exactly. We don't go for that.
Nowadays, you can be whatever you want, which that's the way it should be. I think you should be whatever you want. I don't judge anybody.
And discos was 70s.
That
right?
was 70s, correct?
Yeah.
So she had a lot of friends who were gay, male and female. They would come to the house, so I was around that all the time. My dad didn't care for it too much, but to me, they were funny, and I would laugh, and I didn't grow up with that. I do believe in the machismo part. I like to be a man, but I have a lot of friends that are gay and lesbian, and it doesn't bother me. To me, you should be whoever you are, and that's how it should be.
Yeah. And did your mom decide not to speak English for any cultural reasons, or just because it just wasn't her thing, or where do you think the language thing?
My mom, we tried to teach her, and she was one of those people that she gave up. And we tried to teach her to watch movies in English, and she would, and she'll watch them, and then we tried to teach her some words, and she wouldn't. And then she tried even to learn how to drive. She got her driver's license, and she never drove. It was weird. And I think my dad was also he was the culprit of it. He'll tell, "Oh, you don't need to go anywhere. I'll take you where you need to go." So he put a lot of control of that.
It's kind of part of that culture too sometimes, right? Where you keep your family under wraps, right? You keep your
Right.
woman in the right place, right pocket. You don't need to do that. I got that taken care of. You do your role, I'll do my role.
Correct.
Which I think is cool because out of the last podcast that I did, one of the things that came out of it was know your roles in a
really?
relationship.
Yes.
What do you think about that? Like the concept of what might work in a relationship of knowing your roles. It doesn't matter that they're what you're talking about are the traditional.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's how it should be, though. But yeah, like I'm going back to like my dad he was the typical man. My uncle's like that, which is his brother, and my grandfather was like that. So I grew up with all that very testosterone environment, always teaching you to be a man, and like your role as a man, you're like you have to do this, and if you're a woman, you do this.
It's a little bit of a lost art, our culture, I think.
Yeah,
It's gone, right?
I think it's gone.
Yeah. So not even a little bit. It's gone.
Yeah, no, what's going on in society right now? Which you know what? It's the times.
Yeah.
Everything I think has its time, and this is the time for this.
Now, on the personal note, I understand your mom is in the hospital or was not feeling well.
She has COVID, and
Okay.
she had a pneumonia, so they send her into the hospital. Yeah,
Wow. How's she doing?
she's doing good. She's doing better. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, you bet. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And now Lisa shared with me that you guys knew each other as friends before you became partners.
That is correct.
How old were you guys?
Oh, we were in our 20s.
In your
Late
20s?
20s, yeah.
This was college that you met in, or?
No, it was after college.
After college?
Yeah, after college.
Okay, so you met in the professional realm. You met there was no dating sites back there. So how'd you?
No, we worked together.
You
and
did?
We had different roles. I was a senior operator, and she was a manager.
Is that a disclaimer that we weren't dating while we were working together?
No, and we were just good friends. I know she had a boyfriend and I had a girlfriend, and we were both serious. So I never thought of her as a girlfriend or anything. We're just good friends. And I'm always like, I'm friends with everybody. So, like she said, I'm a social butterfly. I'm a social butterfly. I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
So we get along really good. And a lot of people go, how you talk to her? She's tough. She's a tough cookie. And I'm like, yeah, she's cool. That's her character.
Yeah. How long did that friendship last?
Oh, my God. That lasted for a couple of years.
How cool is that?
That was a while before we started dating, because I was still with a girlfriend when I started getting serious. I saw her and I'm like, okay. She goes to me, either you pick me or you pick, what do you want?
Very good.
You want to be serious? And I said, okay. So I made a choice.
There you
And
go.
I did the right
You
choice.
made the right choice because here you are now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And how
yes.
long have you guys been together?
Oh my God, 17 years.
17.
Over. Actually, it's gonna be over because including our friendship, I will say 25 years.
That's one of the things I was most excited. I was telling people about you guys being here, right? Yeah, because when I started Mixed Messages, it was how do we self-sabotage relationships, right? Like what are the ways that we could remove the obstacles of having a successful relationship out of our life? And I figured most often would be what would come out on the microphone. What has also come out is these little tidbits about what makes relationship work. And now, as I'm out here, I'm seeing everybody scrambling to make relationship work.
Absolutely,
Scrambling
absolutely.
to even like each
Yeah.
other. And COVID created a lot of that too.
No,
where-
COVID screwed up everything. And it's still screwing up
It
things.
is.
So.
But a part of it is if you had a bad relationship before and you were hiding it, COVID made sure you
Oh, sure,
saw.
but I'm not saying that we don't fight and we get into like really bad arguments. Not that much, but we do argue and we have our differences and stuff like that. And we argue and we have everything. It's normal. That's how it should be.
There's no perfect relationship.
If you don't fight with your partner,
something's wrong.
there's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Usually when I try to say, hey, tell us something about relationship, most people are like, no. Like the natural reaction is no. They can't speak on that.
A very strong character. She's very tough and she's funny and she's fun and she's not boring,
Yeah.
which I need that.
Uh-huh.
But I need somebody strong in character with me. I cannot have somebody that's very loose because I'm loose. I'm a crazy person. So I need somebody to also have a little control that puts the reins on me. And I'm like, she's the rider, I'm the horse. So she rides me. She has to control me sometimes because I'm crazy.
And being somebody who controls, they probably need somebody who's a little bit crazy.
And she does. And I think that's what makes it work. Exactly.
It's interesting. And then you complement each other.
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
And she's a beautiful woman, and she's fun, and I have a great time with her. And she's like my trophy wife. So I'm like, I enjoy that. I'm the ugly guy. I'm the ugly
How
and
fun is that? I love that. One of my best friends used to say, in order to really have some form of successful relationship, one of the people have to feel lucky. They have to feel like they're the lucky
I feel
one.
lucky all the time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
right?
Not because she's here. I don't care.
Yeah,
You know,
she is
I'll still-
listening in, but he's not saying things for her to hear. There's
I'm being honest.
Yeah, but I can tell from having spoken with her that she feels lucky too. So
Absolutely.
Now you have a situation
Oh,
where you
yeah.
have two people who feel lucky.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that is a nugget. And again, success is a weird word, but what makes it workable? What makes a relationship workable? Feeling lucky to be in a relationship is a pretty cool thing.
It is.
Don't you think?
You don't want to be lonely.
Yeah.
I've been lonely. I've been alone by myself. And when you're young, it's fun because you always have your friends and you do your stupid acts and your things. And you always have alcohol and drugs to help you out. But it's not the same. You need somebody. When you start getting more serious, you need somebody to be with you and somebody to help you out. You need a partner. There's no out of that. People tell me, oh, I live my life being by myself. No, that's not true. It's going to hit a wall and you're going to be, what have I done?
Companionship.
You need companionship.
And then you place that as a high priority now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But now for 20-something years, you have a companion now.
Yeah.
It's not like something you're working at. You have your...
I don't change my ways. I have my own character and I like my own stuff. I have my own movies, music. And she has her own movies and her own music, but a lot of things, we like the same things, believe it or not. We do, we enjoy that.
I think I've seen your characters. You have like action figures.
Oh, yeah. You know about that. I should have never told you about it, but yeah. I collect I collect Star Wars stuff and horror figures and pop dolls. You know what pop dolls are?
I do not know what that is.
Funko Pop. It's like a really popular thing now with people buying, and it's not for kids, it's for adults, but it's like, you could buy John Lennon. Like little
cool.
pop dolls. Or,
not the ones with the wobbly head or anything like that.
The wobbly, that's it. The little ones.
Okay.
Yeah, in the little box. Yeah.
I dig those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can buy the Doors. They have movie stuff. Like Freddy Krueger, they have little pop dolls of that.
And she's unapologetic for what you love too, because I've seen her on multiple web conferences from people from all over the world with your action figures behind her on the screen.
I know. She told me, and I go, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
And then there's people.
Right? Some wives would be like, oh, I got to go in the other room. There's no way I'm going to, these are not my thing, even though she likes
She's done
them.
that.
For certain meetings.
She had some guys from other countries going, what is it you have behind there? Lisa, what is that? Is that Star Wars? I have the same characters.
Uh,
And she goes, oh, God, no.
Here we
And
go.
the guys ask, can I have some pictures of some of those characters? I said, oh, God, Lisa, then I got to get another room somewhere, so I don't want people to look at these pictures.
Now, you just mentioned that you love Jim Morrison.
I love Jim Morrison.
Why?
Yeah.
What is it about him?
I don't know. When I was growing up and I was getting into the rock music, he was one of the ones that I clicked with. I don't know, like the classic rock. Like I told her, she was more into classic rock than I was. I was always more into hip hop. I grew up in Miami, so I was a 2 Live Crew guy, rock bass and all that stuff. I love all that stuff. I still like it. I don't like the new rap. I'm not into the new rap too much, but I like the old rap. And then into the rock music, that was one of the few bands they're like AC/DC. I loved AC because it pumped me up. But I was a few, and the Doors is one of the ones that people go, oh, because you were into drugs. No, it wasn't drugs. It's not that. I just liked the music. It was very soothing, and it was cool, and he had a nice voice, and I like his lyrics, and I really enjoyed it. It was very soothing, and it was psychedelic without doing the drugs.
And so it was really the music, not the persona. That
Oh, he was cool. I thought
reckless abandonment, like totally no fucks given kind of
he
guy.
didn't give it
at all.
He came
right?
in for a concert, and he'll talk with the cops. He'll piss on stage. He didn't care. He was a cool guy.
I got to say the
He
music.
died too young. He was I think 27.
Oh my God, I didn't know he was that young.
He was super young.
Show me the way to the next whiskey bar.
That's awesome.
Right? Isn't that
Yeah.
stuff great? I was like, Riders on the Storm.
Oh,
All that
come
stuff.
on, all that stuff. Yeah.
Little tidbit on my end. I actually got to interview the last living members of the Doors
No,
at Red Rocks.
that's
Ray
cool.
Manzarek and Bobby Krieger.
You're kidding me.
No.
Oh,
So
that's
we'll talk
cool.
about that offline. But that was a
Wow.
pretty mind-blowing moment for me.
Yes.
I was like 26 years old. I
Oh,
was at
that's
Red
so
Rocks
cool.
and they were doing the Doors of the 21st Century, and they were back on tour, and they had the lead singer of the Cult,
Oh, wow.
Ian Anderson.
That's cool.
And he was completely Jim Morrison embodied. Like he put himself in character.
Really?
And get this, and the Roots were playing there too. And then
The Roots are cool.
The Roots are killer,
I love
right?
the
And
Roots.
so I was with Captain Kirk with the Roots, and we were downstairs
wow.
and we were watching the Doors playing on the TV screens, the like closed television,
That
right?
sounds so cool.
And Riders on the Storm is playing, and all of a sudden it goes, and lightning goes, and it starts pouring rain on the freaking band in Red Rocks at that moment.
Oh, man.
And Captain Kirk's, oh my God, I gotta get up there. And so we go.
You know, when I was in Colorado, I
Yeah.
wanted to do the rocks there, and we did, and there was no concert at that time. And I would love to see a concert there.
It sounds like that's a bucket list item. We should add that
Oh,
since we're
God,
talking
yes.
about it, right?
Yes,
a killer
absolutely.
show at Red Rocks.
Yes, and
Yeah.
get high a little bit.
And get high.
Oh, I'm down. I'm down for that one.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I can say that now. I can. When I was at other places,
He's in
I can be like,
Colorado.
oh, I don't get high.
He's in Colorado the best.
It is really amazing. Yeah,
Ugh,
it is.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So Jim Morrison, what else about that really intrigues me? Because it tells us about who we are a lot of times. Don't you think about the music that resonates with? And AC/DC, I liked AC/DC, but it was more of my like younger youth. I grew up in Idaho.
I saw him in concert a couple times, and that was the best concert. And I've been to a lot of rap concerts. I can tell you, I can name a lot of concerts, but that was like one of my favorite concerts. The AC/DC. The 2 times I've seen them, they came down here, and they were awesome.
They crush it though, don't they?
They crush it.
They
People
just-
go crazy. People go crazy.
Yeah. All the way up until one of the brothers just died.
Yeah.
But they never stopped. They just, and they're 2 guys from Australia. Talk about
Australia.
making
I didn't know that.
a couple of
till,
kids
like,
from Australia,
till later on. I thought they were like from somewhere else, not Australia.
Yeah.
I mean, Australia,
right?
Oh my God.
And they own all those rights.
I thought they were from the UK. I go, they're from the UK probably. And
They're from
Australia.
nowhere, Australia.
Yeah,
And they
nowhere.
stayed there.
And they stayed there.
And they lived their normal lives
Yeah.
in the Aussie land. And then they would go out and be rock stars, make
Angus
a
is a
fortune.
shit. Angus is for. I saw him when
Amazing.
Angus was old. And he was on the stage jumping around with the guitar and on the floor, and he was like killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it with that schoolboy outfit. It's
Right,
funny.
right.
Oh, I had the Funko Pop doll of that one too. Of
So you also said you like Cypress Hill.
Cypress was cool. That's one of your bands.
That's one of my bands.
I grew up with that, so like it's a black guy and a Latino, and
Right.
I like that. Come on,
I like
It's
that
awesome.
mixture.
It's a great mixture.
So now a little bit back to the relationship. So one of the things that's funny is we talk about being transparent and stuff and being able to speak openly. As I was talking to Lisa a little bit about one of my previous relationships and some complications I had around infidelity. And I made it about more than what it was and found that out later. But there was some there, right?
Of course.
And it was a punch in the gut for me. And she goes, oh, when I knew Hector, he had a relationship that went through that. Did you know she told me that?
No, I didn't know that.
No, you
Unfortunately, she talks too much. She talks too much.
She said that really.
I told her she talks too much. I always tell her that. You talk too much. You need to be quiet.
She said that stung. Did you feel like that stung? Did that
No,
hit you? You don't mind?
no,
You were
no.
over it as
No,
fast
and did
as
she
it
tell you that
happened?
we were eating lunch one time at work and she showed up? She
That's
didn't say
what
that
I'm
part.
gonna hear. I'm leading in.
Oh,
Tell
so
me.
yeah. She
What's
did
that
She did.
story?
We went to have lunch together. We worked together. So of course we went to lunch, and it was like an evening lunch. And my girlfriend showed up, and she just looked at me and looked at her, and she goes, Hector? and starts crying, and she walked out.
Okay.
And then I kept on eating. And she looked at me and goes, Hector, are you going to go after her? I go, I don't know. I'm eating. And she goes, you need to go after her. She goes, right now. And so I left.
So she coached your relationship together for a minute.
Yeah. And then that was a tough breakup, yeah.
That was a tough breakup.
She was a good girl. She wasn't a bad girl. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not making her bad in this.
No.
And we don't know who she is. We'll never know who she is.
Oh, of course not.
But that says a lot in a friendship, that somebody can go through that with you and watch you go through whatever you go through it and be your friend and fall in love with you after.
Of course.
Right? And then prove to build this trust with you.
You're right. Correct.
And it strikes me that you two trust each other.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And do you think...
We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of heavy-duty shit. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, we've been through like a lot of stuff.
What do you think helps build trust outside of just getting through adversity and surviving it? What are some of the things that maybe come to mind on?
You need to, first of all, trust each other. That's the first thing. People say, when they say trust, you do need to trust each other. You need to love each other big time, and you have to know each other. You have to know ins and outs, and you need to give and take. You can always take. You have to do both. And I think those are the main things you need to do. And like I said, if you don't trust each other and you don't have that connection, then it's never going to last.
But they say trust is earned. How do you just trust each other? How do you just turn on the...
Man, 25 years together, have to trust each other, because if not, it's not going to work out. If you're going to be in that state of mind, forget it.
Oh my
then
God.
You should be single.
The whole downward rabbit hole and messed up mind of not trusting each other that's a wicked way to live.
She has to be herself, and I got to be myself. I always tell her, we get divorced, and I'll live my life and you live your life. That's fine. But why? If I have something great going on, why am I going to go find another girl? She's going to find another guy?
You're gonna come with a whole other bag of tricks.
He might come with some good stuff and some bad things.
Yeah, you're
or
trading
more bad
him.
things. And I know her past with some of the guys, and she knows the past with some of my girls, and it's not always pretty, and it's not always nice. So you gotta, like I said, it's a give and take relationship. You gotta give each other time and let it grow. It's like a plant. You gotta water it, and you gotta give it time and get some sunlight, everything, so for it to grow. That's a relationship. That's how it is, and you just give it time.
Well, and everything's a trade-off, right?
Everything's a trade-off. If she stops me, hey, you cannot stop collecting stupid dolls. I'm not gonna stop collecting stupid dolls because she does me. Or I like sports cars, and she says, I hate sports cars. Why are you driving a Camaro or a Challenger? I like American Muscle. And it's just, then she hates that. And I'm like, she likes certain things. Like, why don't you drive a truck? I'm like, I'm not a redneck. I don't want to be in a truck. We joke about that.
That's a super cool, misnomer then. You don't have to be exactly like your partner to get along.
That's what I'm trying to say. She has her own things, and she has her own taste. And that's fine. There's something wrong with that. She'll be sitting there and watching one of her stupid shows.
Yeah.
And then she goes, why are you watching The Walking Dead? And that's a stupid show. And I'm watching, and that's a stupid. And I go, yeah, but how many seasons are there? There's a lot of stupid people like me watching this stupid show.
Yeah, a lot of them.
She'll watch The Housewives.
Yeah.
That's a stupid show.
Yeah.
And they all have microphones on. They're talking, they're fighting. That's staged.
Yeah.
And I told her that, but she enjoys it. Why am I going to make fun of it? And I sit there and I watch with her. And then sometimes she'll watch my stupid shows, and she goes, that's stupid. I go, I know, but that's what I like. But that's how it is. That's how a relationship is. It's like I said, give and take.
And you don't judge each other for liking your stupid shows.
No.
You might give each other shit.
Oh, yeah,
you might be
of
like,
course.
that sucks. I can't believe
Of
I don't have
course.
no idea why you do that. But you don't judge each other.
No, and she's very cool about it. Like I said, I like horror movies or like dramas, like weird dramas, and I'll make her go to the theater and watch. She goes, She goes, what is this? And she'll come out sometimes saying, wow, that was cool. I'll take her to see an artsy horror movie like The Witch, which is like a drama horror movie, and it's not really like a monster movie. It's like a weird drama horror. And she came out saying, that was interesting. That was a cool concept. And she'll dig it.
Some stuff bleeds in, you're saying. Sometimes they get won over. You guys
Of course. And then she'll want to watch a movie that I don't want to see. Like she wants to go and also go see Elvis. Do I want to see Elvis? Not really. But I'll go see it with her, and I'll take her to see it. And I'll probably go see it in a nice theater, and she'll enjoy it. Have some wine and go see Elvis.
Yeah, because she knows you like it, probably.
That's more her thing than me.
Right. Or not the Elvis one, but either way, you go because you know she likes it, so you're being a companion.
Correct.
And she would go to your thing because she knows you like it, and she's being a companion. She's on for your ride, or you're on for her ride.
Exactly. That's how it has to be. Sometimes I take for myself, and I'll watch things, and she's, enough. We've seen enough of your stuff, and now we're going to watch my stuff, and I go, you're right. So that's how it is.
It almost sounds like I've asked a lot of people over the years, before I even did this show, I must have asked 100 different couples on airplanes, and typically when I was drinking, and was all the more interested.
You're lucky I'm not drinking right now. I would have been better off.
I would have do
needed a scotch
episode
right
number
now.
2, actually. Yeah, we'll definitely pull the bottle out next
Yeah,
time.
I would have I'll be more relaxed.
It's good though. You're coming
It
across
is.
great. It's nice, but it is nice to have a nice drink, get relaxed, and
Yeah.
let it flow.
Not to get
right?
drunk or
Not to get drunk. Yeah, just to
we're
like
gonna share a joint. Then it would have been good
that too.
Yeah, no, would
as
have
well.
relaxed.
Well,
That's true. Yeah.
we're gonna
Next
do
time.
it sober this
for
time.
next time.
Like I kept asking people over and over, and of course everybody, and I agree. Nobody wants to give advice on relationship, right? Because everybody's relationship is so complicated and it's their own.
And I don't want to
thing.
hear anybody's
And you don't want to
advice.
hear
I don't want to
anybody
hear anybody's advice.
because you honestly can't give advice on relationship. Because it's not true for everybody, right? But there's little nuggets. And so when I asked all those 100 people, one of the things that came back the most was, it just works. I got lucky. That was cool. Not to mean that, and I want to hear your dispute on that.
No,
yeah.
I don't think there's
You don't
luck.
think so?
I don't
It
think
wasn't
there's
luck.
No, you got to work at it.
You got to work on it.
Yeah, when we started dating, there was a lot of obstacles there, here and there. We had a great time because when you start anything fresh, everything's new. It's great. It's like a new, but everything starts breaking down. But you still keep the car. You don't get rid of the car and you get rid of it. Same thing. Like the beginning, we had some little obstacles, but we overcame them, and that's how it is. It's not luck. I don't believe that.
I don't mean the whole relationship, I mean finding the person who you get to figure it out with, right? Now, again, I'm not saying that's your case. I'm not saying it's true.
I don't want to get religion on this because it's not. But I'm like, it's God's will. I know it's not God's will. I
So
think,
you could have done this with anybody, you think,
sure.
as long as you put in the work.
You got to put in the work.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So you can have a relationship.
Oh no. There's some people that you cannot be with. There's some people that you would not definitely. They will not put up with your shit or your or vice versa. I think that we were like, then since we were friends, we started as friends first, and for a long time, we already knew where to build from there, and then we structured that relationship, and then it's where we're at now.
Yeah, that's why I dig in. That's why I'm asking the questions. So the friendship seems to be the foundation. Everybody says too. You got to start a relationship around a foundation.
I think that's a very good point. Yeah, you should always have friendship first. Those like nowadays, I see people doing like all these apps that you can meet people. And it's to have sex. That's fine. You can do that, but it's not really a relationship thing.
Yeah.
You cannot meet somebody on like I see these like shows at work, and where I work, they have this show that is called Enamorados, and people like they come in the show and they visit. And in 5 minutes, you could tell if you like the person or not. You can say, no, it's not going to work. And I get pissed off because some of them are really hot chicks. And I go, if I'm with it, and I'm that guy, the guy's a hot guy, and he's all built, and there's a really hot chick coming to visit you. She come to meet you to see if you could go on a date with him. I'm the type of guy that'll say, if she came to visit me, I'm going to give her at least a shot to go on a date at least with her. Because just in 5 minutes, you cannot know the person in 5 minutes. You do that, you're in La La Land.
One of my favorites is on the dating sites is must have chemistry. And I've always translated that to be, and that's true,
yes.
but I've always translated on the dating site is must be fuckable.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And chemistry isn't about that whole real chemistry you're talking about relationship. It's must have chemistry, which means I'm going to know in about 5 minutes whether or not I'd fuck you.
True. That's true. Yes.
Now, you guys kept a very platonic friendship, though, for a while.
Oh, my God, yes.
Sounds like it could be a friend zone, too.
When we were at work and I will send her flowers or whatever, one of our favorite movies is When Harry Met Sally. Even in our rings inside is Harry and Sally.
How cool is that?
Because that's one of our favorite movies.
Okay.
And I am very much like Billy Crystal's character.
Okay.
I'm open and I'm very straightforward. And she's very like Sally. She is in her character, and how she likes to eat some things, and she's very organized and clean. And I'm not like that. That's her. And that's how we clicked. So at work, I will send her flowers from Harry. And she'll send me things from Sally. And people go, oh my God, Hector, Harry, somebody named Harry is sending her flowers. And then it was funny.
That's
so
cool.
I was like, that's a lucky guy. Whatever.
Yeah.
And so we were joking. The city was Sally. And people go, oh, so Hector's going out with Sally. Who's Sally? And they'll go, Sally, that girl. And I'm like, yeah, that's it, like the song. And then at the end, when we did the wedding, we invite everybody from work.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, this is awesome. And they're like,
They finally found out who Harry was. Yeah.
So that was cool. Yeah.
That is cool. It sounds like you guys want the best for each other.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I look out for her and she looks out for me. And when I'm depressed and I'm sad, which all of us are, we have those times. And like her, she has her moments. Like we have each other. That's what I'm saying about being with a partner. If you're sad and depressed and you're smoking weed and you're doing coke or doing drinks, and you go into the downward spiral, you go into the black hole for sure. I've been there, and it's not nice. You're with somebody, you have that person to talk to and to give you guidance and knowledge, and you have the comfort, and you don't have to go anywhere else. Because sometimes even your family is not there for you. It's sad. I know it's sad, but it's the truth. I tell her all the time. Sometimes we don't have our family. Right now, sometimes I tell her, where's your family when we need them? Or my family. So it's us. We're the family. If you have kids or don't have kids, that's fine. If you have kids, we have 2 fairy kids. We have 2 dogs. So that's our kids.
When you're down like that, I find sometimes it's hard to let people help you. How do you guys find a way to, even though I know you guys have so much time in now, all that, but just how do you let each other help each other? How do you allow somebody to help you when you're down?
By sitting down and talking. We'll sit there, and sometimes I like to put alcohol involvement. I go,
Yeah.
let's sit down and
Let's have some drinks.
let's have some wine, or let's have a drink. And she'll tell you, I don't want to drink. And she's not more of a drinker. I'm more of a drinker.
Yeah.
I have to relate everything with drinking. And so at least it's more relaxing. It's like
It's your potion.
my potion, exactly. We'll sit down and we'll talk about the problem, and then we'll say, okay, like she has, like I said before, she has her way and I have my way, but we still are best of friends, and that comes first. We're friends first, then we're lovers, and that's it. It becomes like that. Like when everything happens, we talk as friends first.
I think the companionship's quite a lost culture now too, a little bit. I don't hear it much anymore, right? To be a companion, right? It's like I want
True.
my person, or I'm
I
looking.
think now in the generation, everybody wants to have sex. That's where they go to a club, and the same thing is, I talk to people who are single, and they're like, oh, it's the best because I'm having sex with different girls.
Yeah.
And then when I'm driving here, I see a big sign, cover yourself, there's STDs. And it has a big condom, like, and I was laughing. I go, what's going on in this world? But that's what we're living in now. We're living in a time that even in movies and even in music, it's all about being alone and enjoying yourself. And you don't need anybody else, which is sad.
I was just going to say that sounds terribly lonely.
It is lonely.
You can't do that forever and not be lonely at some point, right? Yeah, everybody gets to have their little heyday.
I don't want to say that, I'm lucky that I have her, because I don't know if luck is the word, but it's in a way it
You're
is.
grateful.
In a way, I'm very
You're
grateful.
grateful.
I am grateful, yeah.
Yeah, and she's grateful.
Absolutely.
For companionship, which is, again,
Oh, yeah.
like, it's weird to say it because it's so not, like you say, it's not cool right now. There's something not cool about companionship. It's almost like that was a generation before. Oh, a wife or a husband.
And like I'm very open and stuff, and I got friends tell me, don't you ever think about cheating on her, or don't you look at other women? I go, I look at other women, but I don't cheat, and I don't have to do that because you have something that's good, and you have something you like. Why are you gonna go to something else or ruin it? It's stupid. Like nowadays, it's hard to find somebody like at my age right now. I'm like, I'm older now. To get divorced from her, it could be done. It's not a big deal, and I'll survive, and she'll survive. But to find the whole clique and all the memories and all the time, it's sad.
You can't grandfather an experience, right?
No.
That's something that has to be done over time. So that
Exactly.
investment that you guys made,
It's
is a
an
recipe.
investment.
It's like a family recipe. Mama's bread.
Her parents never got divorced. My parents never got divorced. And so we also got that foundation. So we learned from that too.
Neither one of your parents got divorced.
Correct.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
There's something foundational there.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you, when I got divorced, and it was a train wreck divorce, and my ex-wife was on the show, and we talked about it.
I heard.
You heard it?
Yes, I heard.
Yeah, it's talk about transparency,
Yeah,
right?
well-
and for me, it was freedom. The episode of that show was freedom. It was like, we're going to talk this shit out. We're going to speak it out. We're going to talk about
That's
it
good.
as is, right?
No, that's good.
But I remember, because we just had young children, and I always said the way we got together is we slipped and fell in a hot spring and got pregnant, right? And then our second son slid into home base with a not without me, you don't, during
Right.
marital maintenance sex. That was our little window. So we came together quick. It was very romantic. It was very theatrical. I was like, we were in our own little hip worlds. It seemed like a good fit, but we really had no time to court. We had no time to really build a friendship. We were like buddies who all of a sudden had a baby on the way. And I was taught conventionally, you make an honest woman out of that person. And
Sure.
so we showed up at the altar, got there just in time before the baby belly bump showed up. But when we got divorced, I honestly, and I'm not a religious man, but I'm a spiritual man. I honestly felt like I now had to lower my head at the pearly gates someday, because I had just fucked up the one thing you're not supposed to really fuck up if you can help it, and that is a marriage.
Of course.
Right? That was kind of where I came from, right? In hindsight, maybe I should have reconsidered having the child and building the relationship before I got married, right? To make sure we were supposed to be husband and wife. We knew we were going to be the child.
You couldn't stop
But
it.
we couldn't stop it. That was where it was.
That's
but
it was, yeah.
the interesting point about you guys coming from two families who didn't get divorced was I then ended up reading, and then I wondered, okay, I come from a family divorce. All my family's divorced. Everybody's divorced everywhere. It's a show. I have hardly any family left.
Well, you have your kids.
I have my kids, and they're like my everything. They actually moved
Exactly,
to Wyoming
exactly.
with me. We're like best friends. They bailed me out of jail. It's
That's
really
awesome.
cool. I'm proud of them. And
I wish I had that. No.
Right? It's a beautiful thing. We have a relationship, and we have friends. And my son's on my most
And you
recent.
know what's another thing? You know what's sad? Like I talked to her about, and this show's not about friendship.
Well, friendship is relationship. Every relationship
Yeah,
has
but
it.
a real friendship is your partner.
Yeah.
And that's, we always talk about it. I always think I don't have real friends per se outside our nucleus. She's my best friend. And I try to tell her everything.
You don't need 10 if you have one.
Exactly. And then I have a lot of acquaintances,
Yeah.
But friends that you could trust for your life, it's only her.
And would you say it's true when people say typically at the end of your life, you can count them on one hand?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Everybody says they're your friends. If you tell me you meet me at work, you say, "Oh my God, everybody's your friend here."
Yeah.
No, they're acquaintances.
So to get back to that on this other thing, and it's good, that's what we do. But so then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, now I just messed up this marriage thing, and now I'm gonna fuck up my kids. I'm sure of it, right?
Right.
And so I ended up reading this book called The Legacy of Divorce, and it was a 50-year study that they took these kids that came from a family divorce and they followed them for 50 years.
A broken family.
A broken family. Yeah. And then they took kids from a non-broken family and followed them for 50 years. So they could come up with a definitive study of what might be the outcome of children of divorce.
And what was that?
The outcome is that children of divorce typically had a belief system that the rug was going to be pulled out from them at some point in their life, somewhere in the midst. And because it was so clearly defined that life was life, it wasn't perfect, relationships were perfect, parents were still parents, people were fighting, but they were parents, right? It was like the system was in place. And so they knew that no matter how dysfunctional their family was, they stood together. The moment that they broke apart, all the rules broke.
Of course.
Right. And so now they're like, you're trying to tell me that at any given time, you think life is going to be okay and you have something permanently and then it's just gone. Now we'll get back to you guys. You've mentioned you guys choose each other. You know that if you guys you're not being super codependent. You could live without each other if you had to.
Of course.
But can you grasp how maybe kids of divorce would feel that way? How they would feel like everything in life was okay. Our parents at least were together and then they broke up and it changed our life. And now we spend the rest of our life waiting for the hammer to fall.
I'm saying that we haven't had early parts in it's 25 years.
Yeah, you could have.
We talked about divorce, and we almost had these little like fallout, like stupid. We call them stupid fallouts. That we're like, then when we calm down because she's a very strong-willed character, and so I'm just like a little bit more softer. Than her. But we always come to the conclusion we're like saying, why are we fighting this? It's so stupid. We're gonna divorce for what?
But you're children of non-divorced parents. So there could be a skill set there that you haven't even taken time to. You don't know. I don't know.
There might be something there. You're right. I'm guessing you're probably right.
I don't know that I'm right. It's just a study.
No, I'm saying it might be right. It could be.
It seems that you guys you're now married for 20 years, and that's or been together for more than
25.
years.
Yeah.
This is like rare now.
Oh,
most people are on
rare.
their third marriage by this time.
And I got friends that go out and we go out and they'll tell me, "Oh my God, look at all that, look at all that vagina, look at all these girls, they're all so hot.
Sure.
Don't you want to fuck one of them?" I'm like, "Yeah, if I was single."
But you guys do role play. You get to pick different people's names.
Exactly. but I'm pretty sure that she goes out with her friends and she'll see other guys. She goes, "That guy's super hot."
Yeah.
That's normal. That's being human.
Yeah.
If you don't have blood in your system and if you don't think that girl's hot or that guy's hot, then you have issues.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
And I'm always like going back to the beginning. You were telling me about where I'm from and my structure, my dad, like the whole like Latino being strong man and all that stuff. And I bet you could read a book about studies about being like that. You're gonna be like your dad or your uncle and your grandfather. They were like very different. My dad doesn't believe in gay marriages and all that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? If I bring a guy over, my dad would kill me and kill the guy. But like I'm the type of guy. Like I tell Lisa all the time, and if people say, "Oh, how do you know you're not gay?" or this and we always talk about that because this is like the thing that's going on around right now. And I tell people, if I was the person that would be gay, I would be, because my character is so open that I will be open about it. I'm not closed about it. And I will tell my dad, I'm not like them. It's weird. I'm not like my dad, my uncle, my grandfather. Like I told my dad one time, if I fall in love with a prostitute or a hooker and I marry her, would that bother you? He goes, absolutely, yes, that's disgusting. I would not allow that. And I'm like, why? Because to me, it's like I said, that's life. And maybe that's what came in your life. And then that person got you at the right moment and you have something in common and you cannot judge a person for what they did in the past and whatever. That's life. And
I have a shirt that says "Sluts need love too," and I was talking about myself.
Sure.
So
You're the slut.
I was the slut,
That's
right?
fine.
So I'm like, "Sluts need love too."
You're a good slut. You're
I'm
a good slut. Yes, you are.
I can be a good boyfriend even afterwards. But you broke a stereotype with your friend.
I did, and I told my dad's not. Everybody goes, "Are you like your dad?" I'm like, my dad is very serious. He's not jokeful like me. You ask Lisa. I'm like the opposite of my uncle, my dad. No, I'm very like I joke around, and I do not take anything serious. When we got married at church, I started fucking around with the priest, and we went into a non-denominational church that it was like, and because I didn't want to do the whole thing, and I'm not very religious, so we talked about it earlier by ourselves outside the storyline here. But I'm me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change for you or for anybody. Or do I got to take catechism class and all these things? And I'm like, I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm not going to.
And I think I'm picking up what you're putting down there in that sense of when I say about like kids of divorce or not a divorce or whatever, and you're kind of like, there's also the stereotype here and there.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So you're kind of like, you're your own nature. It doesn't really matter what your upbringing
Absolutely.
is. It might fundamentally make a difference on making a relationship sustain because you've seen it
Maybe.
for good or for bad.
Maybe.
But it sounds like more importantly, you're saying you be your true self. And your true
if you let it be.
If you let it
Because there's people that are not true. And they go, oh, no, I'm like this. I'm like that. No, I always tell her, that's just me and this is how I talk. And sometimes it's bad.
Do you believe you have a nature? Were you always the humorous one as a kid? Are you still the same guy you were at like 5?
I think I was always clownish. Yeah, I think I was just clownish. Because nobody in my family's asked. Oh, my younger sister's clownish. Yeah.
So you could actually, and I agree with you, but I know for myself, like I try to use this to get over actually being pissed off or hating people at times in the workplace or anywhere. I'm like, Heath, think about this person when they were 5. And
True.
Try to not think of them in this made up adult world. And maybe.
Of course, now that I'm older, I see things differently and I pick up on things differently. I pick up on people differently. Okay, like for instance, a good example is like I see people that go crazy nowadays. Like you can tell them I'm getting older. I'm still good. I'm still funny and I'm fun and I like having a good time. But I go to let's say a Dolphin game or a Heat game and people are screaming for the players and people are wearing their jerseys and I'm like, who cares if they win or lose? This is a stupid game and then these people are getting paid to play. So what is somebody pay me to for the work that I'm making the TV go on air and for the production? And nobody cares. Why didn't they wear a shirt that says Hector on it? They say, Hector, it's on air, yay! Or Lisa, the show's on air. Nobody gives a shit. So I'm gonna be paying for a Wade shirt, so number 3, so I could be giving him more money for him to be paid to play a basketball game. And then all that, they get into politics. I hate another thing. That's another thing. Politics. I don't want to talk about politics with anybody. It's not, that's your opinion. That's my opinion, and that's how it stays. Or your gender, or whatever. I don't care. People ask me, and I'm like, I don't care. Don't ask me about that, because then I get pissed off because I don't talk about none of that stuff. Talk to me about fun things. Let's talk about movies. Let's talk about music, about life, or you don't talk about relationship. That this is my relationship. That's fine. But I think, like I said, going back to the beginning, I'm me and you're you, and that's it.
Be yourself. You said, like really be yourself.
Be yourself. I have people at work that go there and they're like with hats with the politics on, and I'm like, that's good. That's you want to show everybody that's your thing. That's good. I don't care. I would never do that. I wouldn't promote anything. I don't. That's my opinion. That's your opinion. That's it.
One of the things is I was trying to break down my own ego over time and trying to figure out like what is myself. There was times where I strayed in my life where I took on pieces and parts of my stepdad, my dad, or what I thought he was, my mom, my society, what I thought I should be as a father, what I thought I should be as a man, right? And I said these, and I started telling people this, and people were like, no, they did, as if I was self-deprecating, right? But I was saying, I'm seeing parts of myself that's a fraud.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they're like,
you see yourself like your dad or anybody in your family or your mom?
I saw myself become like, and I said that like in the marriage initially, when I first got married, I became what I thought I was supposed to. I didn't go into it comfortably going, I'm going to stumble my way through this and admit to knowing nothing and hope to not fuck it up, but you're going to see me. I was able to do that with my kids for some reason because I had this fundamental need from being a fatherless child to being but like with the rest of it, I allowed myself to make myself up a little bit. That really wasn't me. It wasn't the 12-year-old me. It wasn't the 8-year-old me. I don't exactly know when or where, how much it happened or when it didn't, but I started to notice it, and I started to notice it through my own bouts with depression.
When did this happen? Like recently?
I started to notice it somewhere in like my 30s when I was in Manhattan.
Oh, so that's good. You're still young.
Yeah,
okay.
I was still young. When I was like, I was wearing suits and I was working for HBO and I have a boat in Chelsea Piers and I'm entertaining.
So you're playing the game.
I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
But I'm a country boy. I'm a very simple man, actually. And so here I am working at Bryant Park and Game of Thrones is the biggest thing on and everybody's on my boat because it seems like I'm cool. And I'm playing cool.
Did you have the White Walkers on your?
Pretty much, we had.
Everybody's a White Walker.
Everybody's a White Walker there.
Yeah, they're not.
It's
that's
not
what I thought.
normal. That's another bubble of life. And so I started to peel away because I'm the same way that I project manage is I'm about removing obstacles, not adding. Right.
That's good. That's a good thing.
I believe to get people and ourselves to a proper finish line, we just get everything out of the way.
That's a good thing.
Right. And so part of it was getting my fraudulent, I would say, and again, everybody, stop it. We don't want to know that. We don't want to think you're insecure. You seem terribly confident. I'm like, there's parts of me that's an imposter and a fraud. And I'm getting a clue. and I'm going to find that fucker, and I'm going to get rid of that.
You have
because
to.
I want to be me.
You have to be yourself.
Because then I wouldn't really, because I can't believe in love either.
I don't know you. I'm getting to know you, but I think pretty much yourself.
I am now. I do. I feel really comfortable in my skin now.
You could tell.
And I don't feel like an imposter and fraud.
No, you can tell you're telling the truth.
I am telling the truth. And that, but it took a little time to get back to that.
You can tell when people are fake and when they're like, they're false. You can, you can, a lot of times I can pick it up. I can pick up on it.
Frankly, I'm sure people could have picked it up when I was that then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that was one of the goals. And I don't think I would have done that for myself. I did it for my children.
That's good. That's good.
Right. Yeah. So I had somebody else to love. I knew I had a lifetime companion.
So you are the Jon Snow. You overcame.
Yeah, I guess that's a good example for me. Right?
So you killed the queen. You had to.
I had to.
You had to. Yeah, that's good. You did the right thing.
It feels good. I can wake up and I can live with myself. I can sleep good at night. My kids, I don't have to hide.
That's good.
Right, from anybody or anything, particularly the people that I love the most. And then I also feel like I can trust love more, to your point. Not just people, but the love they give me, because I actually know that they know who they're loving.
True.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like they're not, I didn't paint something for them to sign up for that all of a sudden I'm going to be like behind the curtain, and at some point half the curtain's going to show up and they're going to be like, oh, wait, you're not all that. Right. And then that kind of stuff can drive us crazy because we're thinking, oh, eventually like the gig's going to be up. And
you got to get to a point that you have to be free. There's many ways to explain. Like, for instance, your job, you cannot take your job too serious. It's only a job. You quit if you have to.
Admitting that I cheated on my wife with her best friend and blew up my marriage on a podcast that I knew that my boss was
it delicious? Was it worth it?
It was not worth it.
Then see?
But admitting it. And with my
tough.
wife,
at
and
least you did the right thing.
Being healed from that.
Oh, you need to let that out.
All that, because I wasn't healed until
that's imprisonment.
That was imprisonment.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And so that was part of the freedom, which was the name of that episode. Was really being free to tell your truth.
That's a good title. That's what it is. It is prison.
It was.
It's like owing money to the bank or owing money to like credit cards. Like people feel you're in prison. It's like, yo, I got to keep on working to pay for that.
And now I don't lie, right? If I do, it's accidental, right? Again, it's part of that, am I lying to myself? But I really feel like that's one of the first rules now in any kind of relationship. And I've now come to this framework that I think relationships are a series of agreements. That's how,
of course.
Like in a relationship, we make agreements and we see if we can live into them. And if we have to change those agreements, we change them, and then we keep choosing each other. And so if you lie, then you're not giving the other person the opportunity to be like, I'm not cool with this agreement, or they're signed up for something that they think they're signed up for, but they're not, right? And so now you've just done a terrible disservice for the relationship because you haven't given them the option to opt out, because you're probably afraid to lose them, because you probably do deserve to lose them.
Absolutely.
Because you're lying to them.
Exactly.
Right?
If you don't honest like that, you won't enjoy your life.
You just can't enjoy your life.
It's like you're in prison. It's not, you don't need that.
Yeah.
No, that's lying to yourself.
I don't have a relationship with my father, but I see him from a distance, and frankly, he strikes me as a man who's lived in prison for his entire life outside of those walls.
But that's like I told my wife. You live your life, they live their life.
Yeah.
And like I sometimes worry about my parents, and I go, why? They lived their life, and they chose to be where they're at and how they are, because that's how they are. Mm-hmm. Now, they might be crazy, but we're all crazy.
Yeah, no judgment.
Mixed messages, man. Mixed messages.
Right? Yeah, definitely mixed messages is a good call out on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to live your life and enjoy it. And do the best you can, especially now when you're getting older. When you get that hump, you need to start like saying, okay, I have this much time left. Let me enjoy it. Let me enjoy every day as it is. Don't spend it sleeping or getting drunk and passed out or with your friends. Like I have a friend of mine, married for a long time, and recently got divorced from the perfect wife. Because why? He picked his friends over his wife. He decided, he said, you know what? She doesn't like me having friends. He would have friends over on a Friday and Saturday night at his house in the backyard, smoking cigars and having a big barbecue fest and smoking and stuff. And it was fun. I like to come over, but I would never allow that. They go, oh, you have a big house? Hector, why don't we do it at your house? I go, never. First of all, she wouldn't allow it. She'll allow a couple of my friends, but like 20 guys at the house, smoking cigars and making a mess and using my bathroom. And she's sleeping in the bedroom. And any guy could see your wife naked. I'm like, it's kind of weird. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen in my house. Right. I'm not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
But I guess you make your own decisions, and that's your call.
And it's an honor code. Sounds like you have an honor code there.
Right? I do have some honor codes. Yeah, I sure do.
Yeah. And on that note, it's actually interesting too. You mentioned that is like one of the things about like your friend, I think, and we talked about this earlier about midlife crises and
Yeah.
blowing up your marriage and going out for whatever reasons.
He's not going out with a woman. That's the thing. He just wants to be alone. He wants to be left alone. And
left
then
alone.
he probably pays for a prostitute. I don't know. Or he finds a girl. I don't know. I don't ask him, but I'm saying that's his call. And
To each their own. I
For
agree
each
with you
their
on
own.
that. Totally on that. On the midlife crisis thing, and or this kind of like trade in, trade up, trade off thing. If you were going to give up a 20-year relationship and you go start a new relationship, you don't know what you're buying into.
No.
You do not have all.
No, and nowadays it's weird. It's just weird times right now. You want to go into something that you don't know into.
Yeah.
Like we have we're the same age. We know what we grew up in. We know the let's say I divorce her.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen, but this happened. I'm gonna go and let's find a younger girl. Let's say I find a 25-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah.
And that big gap of 25 years is weird because there's things that she doesn't know about what I like.
After the honeymoon period, it's going to probably be a drag. Actually.
Yeah. Let's say the sex part is that's what you're thinking of. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine, but I mean, like the knowledge part.
Yeah.
There's no way she doesn't know the movies that I like, the whole time, the music. Like I'll be playing Morrissey. She's what the fuck is Morrissey? They're like into Daddy Yankee. I don't know what the hell that crap that's out there right now that I don't like. But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. It's like there's a lot of things that when you have that companionship and you build it, it's been 20 years together. It's you guys already build on something. You guys have a lot of ins and outs of each other.
Yeah.
That's very important. That's more important than money. That's more important than anything. That's life. It's
What
like,
you've resonated over and over again is being truly authentic in your relationship.
Absolutely,
Being
yes.
truly yourself.
Yes.
And giving the other person the freedom to do the same. And I'm really getting that one on this one. And it's fascinating because in order to do that too, and again, this doesn't mean that we haven't had to take on shitty jobs or make sacrifices or do different things, but I had asked one of my mentors early on, a guy was 20 years older than I, and I've taken on a few in my life. And I was like, again, how do I not lose my shit? Assuming I maintained a marriage for 20 years and then I decided to blow it up and buy a Porsche and go fuck 20-year-olds or whatever, which I'm not really attracted to younger women. I like something different. But let's assume that
I'm like you. I like fine wines.
I like the fine
I'm
wines.
with you. I'm with you.
You haven't seen me with a younger
I don't like
woman.
I'm not into young wines either.
No,
I'm with you.
I am not, and I have no history of that whatsoever. But what I liked, what he gave me, and I'm still living into it to this day. It's something that I continually try to adopt. But he said, "Hey, Heath, I grew up in a generation where most of us men were taught that we had to do, have, then we could be. So we would go do med school." We'd have our PhD, have our doctor's practice, and then we could be this amazing life, whether it be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they spent 10 years in school, married the person they thought they were supposed to. They did all of these things, do and have, so that they could eventually be, and then they get there, and they're like, this isn't really what I really wanted in the first place. I can't believe I just spent 20 years.
That happens.
It happens, right?
It happens a lot.
A lot. And so then he said, you can avoid that. And there's a big trade-off in that too, but you can avoid that. And here's what it looks like. You just be, and every day you wake up, you be, and then you'll just know what you're going to do. You're going to make sacrifices. You're going to not have, but you be yourself, be authentic. And this means for your partner too. Let them be the same. You guys just do life as you're being, and then you have to accept your have.
Like a perfect example for a movie, I tell people watch the movie by Mike Judge, Office Space.
Yeah.
And like the whole idea of going to work and being in the same mundane bullshit and robotic and just to get a paycheck and you're not happy with your life. Like that's what happened with that guy.
Yeah.
He decides to, he said, you know what? After he woke up from the spell, he goes, the hell with this. I don't need to be here.
Yeah.
I want to get some fresh air. He went from an office job to working construction. And it's far-fetched, but it could happen. And,
It can happen.
But you know what? It was happier.
Yeah.
You want to find yourself to be happy. You don't want to be in the same rut.
Yeah.
If your relationship is like that, or your job's like that, or whatever everything in life is like that,
Yeah.
you need to find how to get out of it and to find the correct thing to make you happy.
I love that. I'm not a big celebrity kind of guy, but Jim Carrey's kind of been that for me.
Jim Carrey has changed himself so much. And I respect him now more than, you hear him talk now?
Yeah.
He is fresh air.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? This guy's making sense.
Yeah.
Like he's a goofball in the movies, and
Yeah.
then now he's just telling people how it is.
And really showing
And he's open.
open.
I don't think he gives a shit because he's so
No,
rich. He goes, you know what? I'll tell you how it is.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
Isn't it?
Yes, he's original. He's
Real.
I think he's one of the few actors that's real.
Yeah.
He's not fake.
Now can laugh at himself, which is a fun part of being real.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I can see we all do that. So we're wrapping up. We're going to miss our reservations if we don't wrap it
Absolutely.
up. But hey, I have to call you on it because, you guys have a relationship. You've sustained it. You started out as friends. You're married. You like each other. You love each other. It doesn't mean there's not good and bad and all the difference, but you have that. And we're here and we're going to go have a good time together. You still have a good time with this person. Can you leave our audience with just any last thought on that? Any last thought?
Please give everything in a relationship some time. Think of the good things instead of the bad things. And when you're upset, think before you react and what you say. Don't just jump into the action of saying something you're going to regret later. I learned from that. So be careful with your words. Think. And like I said, time. If you're with that person, it's for a reason. Give it love, give it time, make it work. Try to make it work. If you don't see that connection there, then it's not going to work. But you have to put in and out. Both of you have to put in and out. It's not only you, it's not her. And just give it time.
It's beautiful, man. Thanks, Hector.
No, thank you.
Mixed messages. Thanks for being here, guys.
Mixed messages.
Ciao.
Bye.
Mixed messages. Mixed messages. Mixed messages. Mixed messages. Mixed messages.